All done in there? Was hoping we could chat. Hope that little dust-up back there didn't put you off. My contract had me caged, and I was glad to get a few licks in during the jailbreak. Got a proposition. Since I'm newly free-ranged, and you're free-ranged yourself, thinking we ought to team up. You're going places. I want to go too. If you help me fix my graft, you'll retain the services of a fully functioning enhanced soldier. Me. Don't matter what you set your mind to, together we'll be unstoppable. And in time, maybe I'll have earned myself the clout to be welcomed back in Auntie's choice. I can be on my own for a time, but I'd rather it not be permanent. Besides, where else can I turn from nothing to something? They ain't the Protectorate. If they couldn't see my worth, it was due to circumstance, because of my graft, or because I ain't trying hard enough. I get it. You're skeptical. If you got more questions, go on and ask them. You'll not find me hiding anything in the fine print. Had a feeling you knew a good offer when you seen it. Once I'm in top form, you'll be pleasantly surprised to see what I'm capable of. Just gotta find out how to get there first. Doc Tinsley worked with grafts for some time before she came to Fairfield. Damn fine scientist. Reckon we should visit her lab at the edge of town to see if she's got ideas for us.
This much of a crowd's not likely to keep a low profile. Someone ought to head back to mind the ship.
Acknowledged.
After you. Appreciate you agreeing to help, but the arm's itching something fierce. Ready to do away with it. We ought to head to Doc Tinsley's, quickly if we can. Anyhow, was there something you needed, Commander? How personal are we talking? Couldn't say. I was in it all of 2 days before my graft started festering. Before that, I was an infantry medic. Our platoon was one of the first to touch down in Arcadia. I would have continued serving on the front line in an upgraded capacity, but, well, once the state of my graft became apparent, it was decided that parting ways would be best. My commanding officer, and the surgeon who performed the operation, I imagine. I wasn't lucid at the time. When I regained consciousness, I saw that my service pistol was gone, and a termination notice was in its place. I put 2 and 2 together. Well, that was a bad morning. Look, I knew dismissal was a possibility when I volunteered for the procedure. A successful graft is a boon, a failed one is a colossal liability. I'm a walking lesson in breakage. Oh, that information is outside my purview. I miss my platoon. Most of the time. I hope they're holding on okay wherever they are. Huh. If nothing else, they'll have Ortiz to keep up morale. I know the nonstop jokes from that bastard sustained me for weeks. Yeah, he's tough. He'll be all right. Of course I do. Can't help but wonder if I'm missed in return. Anyhow, I would rather return to the matter at hand. No use dwelling on those out of sight and out of mind. Right. Like ain't the word I'd use, even before I was itching to tear up my contract and set it aflame. Auntie gave me autonomy, gave me the choice to do more than just struggle to survive. They treated me better than my last employers did, and despite recent events, I believe in their mission. We can give folk here in Arcadia a better life. Of course, I mean, obviously, procuring resources and bolstering their influence are pluses, but there are easier ways to get those than liberating a colony. You can think what you like, but my focus is on the people. I want to do for them what Auntie's choice did for me. They ain't perfect, but they're a damn sight better than the competition. I ain't the only one who welcomed the chance to enlist with open arms, I'll tell you that. The same could happen here. Can't blame them for cutting their losses. What they've done for me more than outweighs how I'm feeling now. If I'd been in this position with any other corp, I'd be dead. Now, do I got qualms with Auntie? Sure. But I'll tell you what, when she overthrew those Spacer's Choice bastards in Tau Ceti, my home system, That takeover was the best thing that ever happened to us, even if it took time to see it. But I reckon that's a tale for another day. That all you wanted to discuss, or... Fine by me? Well, like I said, we were both in the same unit. Me as a combat medic, him as a machine gunner. Everyone in my unit was from Tau Ceti, so we already had that in common. And we served on the front lines, which made us look out for one another that much more. See, most of us were laborers, and we just got our first real shot at something greater. We wanted to make a name for ourselves, and what better way to do that than become a hero? Our onboarders promised that if we demonstrated exceptionalism, showed initiative, that we'd get promoted quick. And our days of living in squalor would be far behind us. It ain't like they forced us to join up. We did that on our own. And it said in our contract that they could send us wherever we were needed. Can't complain if where we're needed is in a trench staring down the barrels of a minigun. I reckon that's a difference in perspective. We spent a week crouched in the same foxhole under aerial bombardment. Shared water one sip at a time by the end of it. Anyone would have been friends after that. I don't know if I would have made it out alive without him. Maybe I'll tell him that over a beer one day. Praise him in front of the whole saloon. Law knows he's got a thing for heroics. Better than I'd feared. Only had to bury 2 troopers and amputate 5 limbs. I'm thankful every day that the Protectorate can't aim for shit. He kept me clear-headed. Every so often there'd be a lull in the bombardments and I'd hear voices all across the field, calling out for aid, for mama, for death. Almost got my head clean taken off when I tried to scramble out of the foxhole the first night. I heard a call for help and moved on instinct. Damn foolish of me, really. Ortiz told me not to panic, to wait till he could provide cover, to just shout first aid instructions where I could. It was too valuable to fall in battle, he said. It was a rough few nights at first, knowing I couldn't help folk who needed it. And the reward for that torment was my life. That an Earth Directorate law or something? No, out here, anyone's fair game. In fact, taking out the one person who could mitigate losses on our side, they'd consider a triumph. In any case, I'm only standing here because of a damn fine soldier who became my friend. I'll carry that knowledge always. Fine by me? Not great. It was a mining colony under Spacer's Choice. Didn't have much, but my parents worked hard to ensure we had shelter and a warm meal every day. They're good folk. I love them. But I don't think they ever quite grasped how bad things were before Auntie's Choice came. They warned me not to join up, you know. Said we'd all get burned if we put too much stock in the promises of this foreign corporation. But I'd rather take a risk on them than be resigned to how things were. Our colony was isolated, which meant our Spacer's Choice overlords could do as they saw fit. Everyone lived in squalor, save for a select few. We were little more than workhorses. Those of us at the bottom only found joy with our families, our friends. But love alone can't get you through the toughest, darkest winters. I miss the sunsets and my folks, though I know they're well taken care of nowadays. But that's about it. Most of my friends joined up when I did, so we took our community with us. Leaving my hometown itself, it was an eager farewell. Though there is one person I keep thinking of. The grandpa who lived next door, Vincent. He used to draw posters and ads for Spacer's Choice. He had style. Of course, that didn't last. Age caught up and his hands started failing him. Couldn't draw, couldn't lift heavy objects, could hardly walk without exerting himself. And in Tau Ceti, if you couldn't work, you didn't get ration cards. We shared what we could with him, of course, but what we got already wasn't much. Last day I saw him, he refused the half-salt tuna can I tried to give him. Said it was him lending me his strength. He was gone the next day. We searched all over, then realized he must have wandered off into the wilderness, not wanting to be a burden. We never found him. Can't hardly open a tin without thinking about him now. So if you're wondering why I still hold a candle for Auntie's Choice, after everything, it's because I know had Auntie arrived just 4 months earlier, Vincent might still be alive. Say what you want, but with them, there's always work to be had, a living to be made, regardless of ability. Fine by me.
Too much Spacer's Ale. Try. Voice pep pills. Good for what ails you.
Just wait. Climb the corporate ladder.
Do your immediate supervisor's job better? Make them look bad? You could also cross them off, all else fails.
You mean murder them? That's not against your laws?
Nothing's against the law if you don't get caught doing it.
Ask them defectors if they miss anything about Protectorate life.
10 bits, they said community.
Yep, community.
Give the order, and I'll take care of him, Commander.
We're closed.
Did you not hear me? This place is closed. No learning today about how everything happens according to the obscure calculus of an indecipherable plan. Obviously, as the result of the obscure calculus of an indecipherable plan. I don't know. I'm no scientician. Why are you asking? Who are you?
The people she tried to kill.
By the architect. I had no idea. I wish I could say it was unbelievable. I was afraid she was becoming a danger to herself and to others. But this is horrifying.
Yeah, imagine how we feel. Why don't you tell us where she is so we can make sure she ain't being a danger to herself or others?
The anguish she always seemed to battle with, I fear it may have finally overwhelmed her. And could likely be what's driven her to her present course of action. No. But even not knowing the details, I could see it troubled her. I haven't seen her since before the corporatists invaded the island. I'm afraid she's going to do something terrible. But I just don't know what. Maybe none of this would have happened had I not introduced her to Victor. How did... You saw her terminal, didn't you? Victor's an Order archivist. We were all friends for a time. But then, shortly before the schism, they started talking to some others inside the Order. That's when things became tense. I started to become uneasy, scared, really. She kept getting angrier with the Order the more she worked with Victor and her other contacts. On top of everything else, it became just too much for me. We became friends when she saved me. I'd said something without thinking. Must have been distracted. We all know to watch every last word we say. For some reason, she interceded on my behalf with an arbiter. And she convinced him he didn't hear what he actually did. No one does that. Void, I didn't think anyone could. We all were, originally, before the schism. But she never gave it up, even when it became illegal to even mention their name. Which was surprising with how angry she seemed to be getting with them, even as she was deep into scheming with Victor and the others. She even continued to sign her messages, "See you in the equation." It's all so confusing. What do you mean? It was where she worked, one of the Protectorate's communications hubs. She didn't speak of it much, at least to me. She may have spoken to Victor about it.
She ain't the only one.
It's difficult to explain. She spoke about things in unfamiliar ways. I felt her words to be freeing, at first. But slowly, I began to feel unmoored, doubting everything I ever knew. She said learning the truth of things was worth it. But now I question whether her truth was just more of her penchant to sow chaos, no matter who may be caught in her schemes. Some days I wish I'd never listened to her at all. Others, I can't help but miss her. Even with everything.
Know a little something about that, too.
I did try to. Once. After the corporatists invaded Paradise Island and took over Fairfield. They seemed to let anyone in there. Some boisterous fellow even tried to recruit me. Yes, and I am ashamed to admit it. Though if she hadn't wanted me to, she wouldn't have told me the code. Same one she used for everything. 15-778.
That sounds like it could be her agent identification code, Commander.
She said it had some meaning from her previous life. I'd hoped she'd left something for me, but the safe was empty. No. But it had to be someone's fault, right? The Protectorate couldn't possibly have failed to safeguard the colony. And they had to answer the accusations the Order leveled at them. It was a code she used for everything. I'm ashamed to admit, I did break into her safe using that code. Was hoping she'd left me something, but it was empty. She did say once it had some meaning from her previous life. Beyond that, I don't know.
That sounds like it could be her agent identification code, Commander.
She said it had some meaning from her previous life. I'd hoped she'd left something for me, but the safe was empty. Among other things, for some reason she was obsessed with the cliffhanger ending of Chapter 6. It was the one where capitalist fanatics brought complete destruction upon Arcadia, but you know how it works. It was somehow miraculously saved at the beginning of the next chapter. Didn't matter to DeVries, though. She just kept going over it and over it. Would have talked to a Crabble about it if there was no one else to listen. That and the invasion itself set her mind to dark things. I begged her not to go down that road again. She was so agitated when I first met her. Must have been 7, going on 8 years ago now. She never slept, didn't talk to anyone if she could avoid it. After we became friends, she began to change. Still bothered her from time to time, but I thought it mostly behind her. I couldn't watch her go back to how she'd been. Or worse. I know I've no right to ask this of you, but when you find her, please remind her of who she used to be. She's unwell, but I know there's still hope for her. That's all I can ask.
Careful, friend. Reckon there might be a few loose raptidons wandering around. Note that Auntie's Choice ain't liable for raptidon-based injuries when there's a war on.
This stretch runs between Fairfield and the Eastern Forward Operating Base. North of here is an old abandoned chapel. Dang, I ought to be charging for information.
Careful of friendly fire if you head down past the farm. Last time we wandered past, they opened fire on us. A real code 472.
Oh, great. A 472. Been a while since I had to dodge bullet spray.
Don't cause trouble. I don't need the extra paperwork.
I don't even want to think about the damage those crabbles are gonna do to my machines.
They're crabbles. They ain't gonna do nothing to your precious terminal. Only thing they're a danger to was us.
Yeah, you may have the right of it, but I just ain't certain. Peddle your wares elsewhere.
Hello, and goodbye.
Personal-like, trading some wages not to have to deal with saltwater for a while is just fine by me. The residue is more than a mite irritating.
Word is Milver Street is ordering a watch on the Protectorate survivors in Westport. Once any change is reported. I hate that kind of work. It always sounds like so much effort. That kind of thing ain't even on my contract. Milver Street is offering bits rewards for anything of import we can tell him. But I do love bits. Come on, friend. Let's go set our lamps on something juicy from Milver Street.
Scout report.
Yes, sir. Looks like the repair center is still out of order, sir.
Excellent. At ease, Scout. Glad to hear that they haven't managed to repair it, even if Command has temporarily put the actual fighting to a stop. Mind your own business interests.
Must be at least a few usable parts in here. It's warped. Just like everything else. Hello there. You wouldn't happen to have found any usable parts in all this debris? Westport's stockpiles of replacement parts are nearly depleted. I need to find some parts to convert some of our auto-mechanicals, non-combat parts. Fortunately, there's nothing here that's salvageable. Auntie's bombs sure take their toll, don't they? Let's just say to fill Westport's needs. If you follow the road heading north, you can't miss it. Used to be a sight to behold, but the war hasn't been kind to it. To any of us. True enough. A few years ago, I couldn't have imagined us running short of anything. And now here I am, digging through scrap for parts. But I digress. Was there anything else? Need to get back to my hunt, you understand? Unless I missed my guess, this looks like it was transporting damaged and malfunctioning automechs from the Vox station to the Automech Repair Center to the south of here. The center is... Say, you don't work for Antes, do you? This is beginning to feel more than a little like you're digging for intelligence. Fair enough. As I was saying, the Automech Repair Center is south of here. Regrettably, subjects of Westport no longer have access to the repair center, hence my need to scavenge. Yes and no. The bomb certainly took a fierce toll, but I suspect these were all in various states of disrepair even before Andy's offensive, which has made sorting out where to begin my efforts here rather difficult. There should be a manifest somewhere, but it's nowhere to be found. Nor are the troopers who should have been escorting this. Where are their bodies? These were stalwart defenders of the Protectorate we're talking about here. Not the spineless stumblewits that comprise the forces of Anti's choice. No. Some other unfortunate fate has befallen them. Could have been any manner of terror brought upon us by Antis. Likewise. And please inform me if you happen upon any usable parts.
Ready to take the heat off you, Commander. Just stay with.
Armed and ready. Help me and...
Give the order, and I'll take care of him, Commander.
Liquidate 'em!
Once we arrive at the automech facility, we'll unload and begin cataloging the state of the various automechs.
Are you recording the drive? Cadet, I do not believe this is what the Sergeant intended by documenting the process. Here, allow me to handle it. Now where's the off switch? Boyd, we're being bombed! Disembark! Lose formation to the beach, double time! We can take shelter in the rocks! Praise the Sovereign. We made it. Halt! Everyone quiet. What's that clacking noise? Oh, shit! Crabbles! Form defensive perimeter type 14A! Ah!
Who goes there? By orders of Marshal Donaldson, no one comes or goes to the Automech Repair Center without approval. What's your business here? Oh, jeez. Weren't you paying attention? This is the Automech Repair Center. The name itself encompasses our mission, our identity, and our purpose. And if you weren't already aware of us, I'm guessing you have no business here.
Now you've done it. Slowing down a ranking protectorate official is worth 10, 20 demerits if you're lucky.
All right, let's not lose our heads over a simple misunderstanding. You're free to pass. Marshal Donaldson likes to greet new arrivals personally. We'll let him know you're inbound, so no one shoots on sight. Oh, and fair warning, watch out for xeranium gas. We sprung a leak. How observant of you. One more thing. Don't cause any trouble around these parts. Donaldson runs a tight ship and has zero tolerance for lawbreakers. You're free to pass, stranger.
Outsider?
Shifty-looking individual, if you ask me.
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have and defend it.
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have and defend it.
Shifty-looking individual, if you ask me.
Did the authorities send you? Did my torrent of messages finally convince them of the vast crab-like dangers near at hand? What a relief. In here I thought myself dismissed as a loon. Well, I speak of the Crabbles, of course. You must have spied those nefarious Crabbles, roiling, rippling, bubbling, and churning out in the water. No one at the facility believes me, but I've seen it with my own eyes. Crabble numbers have swelled as they gather to defy us. A consortium, nay, an army. Oh, you're right. I could be a secret Crabble and not even know it. Crabbles are the bane of Arcadia. Strong, intelligent, and superior to us in every way. What I need is for more people to recognize the threat at our doorstep. Invasion appears exceedingly probable, nay, inevitable. Heed my warning, stranger. Beware the Crabble!
All that matters is getting these automechs to the Vox relay station.
But Marshal, we must adhere to decontamination procedures.
What in the name of the architect? Oh, right. My guards told me to expect a new arrival, right before our chief mechanist decided to harangue me with the latest on our catastrophe.
Marshal, you're acting as though I'm not standing here auguring the impending doom of this facility.
Woodrow, normally I would be obliged, nay, happy, to receive your senseless jawing, but not today. Perhaps this outsider can assist where you've failed. I hope you've come to help, because a crisis is bearing down on us, and I've a dearth of reliable hands with which to manage it. You see, Woodrow, why at this rate, we'll have the facility up and running in little to no time.
That's what scares me, Marshal.
Like you, me and my consternated head technician are new arrivals, though we may not last long if we fail to repair the uranium leak. I wouldn't have put it in those terms, but I appreciate someone who speaks their mind. The Vox relay station needs our automechs. But until that leak is fixed, this facility is a target for the sport of Auntie's armaments. Delphinia Bryant is working on a prototype uranium shield. Whoever uses it will be less disposable and more useful to the Protectorate. What did I tell you, Woodrow? The situation's well in hand.
Marshal, those automechs have been corrupted with uranium. I can't even cogitate on what they're capable of if we lack the time or resources to approach this rationally. Should they go berserk, we may well be turning the very subject you intend to resupply into their victims. We'd be branded as traitors.
Then perhaps you had better explain to Brigadier Montelli why his defenses are grounded. And you can do so personally, in the comfort of his office.
Montelli? I rescind my objection. May the delicate workings of the paradigm point us toward a better way.
There's a good fellow. Cleave to your loyalty, and it will never steer you wrong.
Stay true, outsider.
Ambient uranium levels are higher than average, but within acceptable ranges. State your business. This unit was engineered to facilitate management of supply inventory at this installation.
Oh, this is surely exciting. Someone is finally trying out my automechanical quartermaster. Show them what you got, Quartermech.
Command not understood.
Huh. I thought that would have put it into sales mode. Best look into that later. Please, give it a try yourself.
All wares should be perfectly visible already.
Sorry, it tends to take things too literally. Maybe try phrasing the request differently.
Lull detected. Conversational status uncomfortable. Request not understood.
It only understands the words I've added to its databanks. You wouldn't believe how many words there are for buying and selling. Guess I missed peruse. Look, for now, just use the phrase initiate commerce. It's what I used during the initial testing.
Initiating commerce.
Oh, unfamiliar clientele. I was just lamenting the lack of new faces around here since supplies stopped arriving. And then you walk in. Name's Hazel. I'm sort of the acting quartermaster around these parts. You need any supplies, talk to my friend the quartermech here. Passed during the attack. Got his face melted clean off by this weird goo. And he was one of the lucky ones. Excuse the mess, by the way. Auntie gave us a pummeling a few weeks back. The old wardens paid the price. Where their courage faltered, a little mental refreshment should do just the trick. That's what I always say. Why overcomplicate perfection? Now what'll it be? See you soon, I hope.
Give me a sec. Almost done with this work list. Another sealant failure, amplifier requisition, and 2 more cases of Zeranium exposure. We're a mite bit busy these days. The Marshal is under a lot of pressure to deliver automechs to the Vox relay station, but I'm responsible for their quality control. If even a single automech steps out of line, it will be the end of me. Brigadier Montelli does not accept excuses, and he does not tolerate failure. The Marshal is a good man, but he values speed while I value accuracy. Neither of us is wrong, but in this case, we both can't be right. You'll want to see the quartermaster. She's right next to the gate you entered through. Under the Marshal's office, she'll only be able to sell you our surplus, but you might find some of it useful.
Outsider?
Outsider?
Apologies, this unit's conversation module is functioning intermittently. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or Good night.
First the attack, then there's uranium. At this rate, we're never getting caught up.
What brings you to this fine establishment?
Caught a piece of shrapnel during the attack. What about you?
Uranium poisoning. Only a mild case, but the doctors are withholding treatment to study my symptoms.
Sovereign's mercy. How do you feel?
Downright privileged is how I feel. Sick with pride, nauseous with courage, and chronically fatigued with honor. Stay true, outsider.
Might be wise to give that large gas cloud a wide berth. Don't think there's anything to gain by getting near it.
Oh, a new arrival. Oh, and what's this? You, I dare say, are exhibiting clear signs of zeranium exposure, stranger. Fortunately for you, you appear to have a fairly mild case. I imagine you haven't even noticed any symptoms yet. If you'd indulge me, I have a few questions I'd like to ask, for medical posterity, and so on and so forth. First question, can you describe the conditions in which you were exposed to the zeranium? I'll mark it down as haphazard meandering then. All too common these days. More dangerous than one might think. All right, next question. How are you feeling? For instance, do your bones seem noticeably softer somehow? Have you observed any sterility on your way in? Or aching in your thyroid or spleen? Well, good for you. Keeping a positive attitude can often aid your recovery. I wish more of my patients shared your optimistic disposition. As a token of my appreciation, allow me to provide you advanced zeranium therapy of the highest possible quality. There, that should do it. Do stop back in if you suffer additional exposure. I would love, be pleased to act as your consulting physician again, should the need arise. Oh, gladly. I've rather dedicated my life to researching its unique form of matter. What would you like to know? Zeranium is a crystal. Even in its raw form, it generates energy. But once refined and stored in a quasi-gaseous state, its output increases exponentially. Zeranium is found in a liquid state as well, but it's far too hazardous and inefficient for our needs. Refined zeranium is used to power nearly all major Protectorate technology. It's an amazingly efficient power source. However, it's also highly unstable and must be mined exceedingly carefully. Even minor bumps or jolts can cause zeranium crystals to explode. Zeranium in its default crystalline state poses two risks. First, it's extremely volatile, exploding with an immense burst of energy if upset in any way. Second, zeranium crystals produce a small amount of gas, which we think helps stabilize its crystalline lattice, but that's just a theory. In this gaseous state, zeranium is quite hazardous, breaking down organic matter through a mechanism we still don't quite understand. The concentration of the gas is a critical factor. A person could remain in a light haze for several minutes, whereas a dense cloud can kill near instantly. Anyhow, I could talk about this all day if I let myself. Hope I haven't bored you unduly. Was there anything else I could help you with? Total avoidance is best, but try to get out of the zeranium as quickly as you can if exposure becomes necessary. Come to think of it, there may be some exciting new breakthroughs in the near future. Our visiting scientist next door is working on a device that shields the user from zeranium's effects, though she was having a spot of trouble last I heard.
Oh yes, I adore interruptions. I was just saying, what's best for stoking the spark of invention? Regular disruptions to one's train of thought. Now what is it you want? Quite busy, as I said, and less pleased for this unscheduled work suspension. Now, did you have some business here? Ah, our good Marshal sent you, did he? Well, unfortunately, the device is taking longer than expected. A number of factors. Zeranium is dangerous, and we wouldn't want a researcher falling victim to their subject of study. The scarcity of volunteers is also a problem. Everyone wants to fix the gas leak, but no one wants to step inside a hazardous vapor. Now tell me, are you familiar with zeranium gas? One and the same. That building took the brunt of the damage during a recent attack, and now it's spewing valuable zeranium all over the place. I could speak at length about zeranium's many captivating intrinsic qualities, but suffice it to say, in its gaseous state, it's rather deadly. So what am I endeavoring to create? A protective device that shields its wearer from zeranium's remarkably unsavory effects, as well as other forms of harm. Quite splendidly, if I do say so myself. The principal function of the device is confirmed operational. I merely need to work out some minor implementation concerns. Alas, while I'm occupied with inventing this shield gadget, I also find myself in need of assistance regarding its key components. Good, good, wonderful. As an added incentive, I'll allow you to keep one of the prototypes once the work is finished, so you be sure to give it your all. Now here, you'll need this apparatus. It's for collecting stray zeranium effluvium. Gas, that is. My supply is running low from all the iterative testing I've been performing. Merely activate the device once it's inside a zeranium cloud, the one around the main hangar specifically. Try to avoid any fields of dense zeranium, or death is all but assured. Any questions? Normally, yes, but on the off chance that environmental exposure has altered the gas here in any way, I'll want to work with local samples. Ideally, the resulting shielding will protect against any gas, but since it's of utmost importance that it work on the gas here, I'll be calibrating against that. Well, of course, obviously. To that end, I'd suggest choosing a cloud of lesser density for your collection efforts. Lower chance of near-instant death that way. If you suffer prolonged exposure, assuming you survive, see our local medical officer next door. She is highly preoccupied by the treatment of Zeranium-related maladies. I believe that covers all the necessary education for this particular assignment. Oh, so exhilarating to have a new subordinate. I look forward to thoroughly scrutinizing your work. Now, shoo-shoo! Off with you now! Gather those samples! Shoo!
Outer chassis sealant test number 14 is confirmed a failure. Zeranium exposure rate appears to be unaffected. Test model displayed standard overload-induced paralysis, then became atypically aggressive. Forced to terminate test model in self-defense.
Commander? I think this stuff is eating my lungs from the inside.
Ah, you're back. And you've been cavorting with Zeranium again, by the looks of things. Certainly. There is a nominal cost for treatment to cover essentials. All right, then. Hold perfectly still. There. All better. Was there anything else you needed? Don't have much to spare, but you're free to have a look.
My little minion. I trust you've made progress in your tasks? What did I tell you? Perfectly safe. Either that or you tolerate Zeranium poisoning like a champ. Good for you. Should you suffer from any lingering symptoms of contamination, visit the medical center and they'll get you squared away. Now, on to business. The device already generates a field exactly as specified, albeit on a very small scale. Still, progress is progress. What's needed now is something to help extend and shape the field around the user. An invention that works on paper is half the work. The other half is simply a matter of sourcing materials and capable help. I require a component called a catalytic amplifier. You'll be pleased to learn there's one right here at the facility, in the Dragoon that's patrolling just outside. Catalytic amplifiers are a somewhat outdated technology, available only in older model Dragoons. Unfortunately for me, our chief mechanist, Woodrow, wasn't enthusiastic about my proposal to gild his only combat automech. So you may have trouble getting your hands on the catalytic amplifier. Dragoons are a mainstay of our military. The design has been in production for decades. I had a model of one when I was young. All children did. You must have seen the large automech patrolling the interior grounds. That is the Dragoon. I'm sure he's just being cautious. Should Auntie's choice attack us, we don't want to be caught defenseless. No doubt he also seeks to retain an unspoiled automech, since the others are by now riddled with Zeranium poisoning. Good. A flexible mindset should behoove you on this task. Perhaps the chief mechanist will prove more receptive to your request. Failing that, be prepared to exercise creativity if needed. One last thing. The Dragoon must not be harmed. Not only would the amplifier likely be damaged, but we'd both be summarily executed, assuming we survive the firefight that ensued. Well, off you go. Shoo.
First the attack, then the Zeranium. At this rate, we're never getting caught up.
If you need something, kindly make it quick. She and I have been over this 100 times. Please understand, the original staff of this facility were rounded up and refreshed because they couldn't safeguard a protectorate asset. Why should I follow their example by reducing our sole working Dragoon to a pile of unpatriotic scrap? I can't. I won't. If you're really so desperate, you can track down our second Dragoon. Damn thing wandered up the coast and hasn't been seen since. I'd have sent someone to retrieve it myself, but Dragoons are stubborn when their instructions are unclear. First, that would undoubtedly destroy the catalytic amplifier. Second, everyone here would turn their guns on you. You do that. Good hunting. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's work to be done.
You're free to pass, stranger.
Ready to waste them on your command.
Well, any closer to obtaining the catalytic amplifier? Oh, superb! I'm almost tempted to ask how you managed it. But pressing on, just a moment to remove what I need and install it in the prototype. With this gadget, you'll be shielded against more than Zeranium, you know. Damn near everything, as long as it's charged. Now, report to Marshal Donaldson, if you please. He's rather impatient to end this crisis so he can turn his focus back to the war. You do that. Anything to keep him off my back for an hour.
I'm glad that spectacle didn't scare you off. Between the recent attacks and the gas leak, you find us on the razor's edge between reason and panic. Whether or not you're able to help us, I'm grateful to have an extra set of eyes on the problem. Zeranium is hardly my area of expertise, but it falls to me to find a solution, lest I follow my predecessors to their untimely fate. What happens to any member of the Protectorate who falls short of fulfilling their lifelong oath of service? Execution for the unworthy, and mental refreshment for the salvageable and the stalwart. Dereliction of duty is a heavy offense, and no lesser sentence will fit the crime. I hold myself to the highest standard, but this Zeranium leak, it threatens all that I hold dear. Ha! You cut straight to the point. This facility has been through many a trial and tribulation, but the war is not finished with us yet. What it needs is stable, consistent leadership, and I can't be that if I'm dead of Zeranium poisoning. What else would disrupt the harmony of our perfect system? Auntie's choice, of course. A chance shot hit the wrong pipe early into their assault. Zeranium wreaks havoc on automechanicals. Every combat-ready mech in the repair hangar was overcharged and beset with behavioral problems. Further damage soon occurred. Had I the resources, I would have sent wave after wave of engineers into the facility until one of them flipped the correct switch. Alas, the tragedy unfolded before my time here, and resources were slim. The situation is deteriorating rapidly, and I need that gas leak fixed. Otherwise, my automechs might as well be paperweights. While I trust that Brigadier Montelli has everything well in hand, that assurance does not alleviate the grim tidings felt in the pit of my bowels. Loyalty and instinct run hand in hand. I'm a Protectorate man, after all. So why should I be ill at ease, despite our stalwart chain of command and dependable kin at the helm? No matter. My unease is nothing when measured against the strength of the Protectorate. This facility's purpose is the maintenance of automechanicals. When the war kicked off, it became a military asset, and I am its second steward. The old staff should have laid down their lives to repel Auntie's choice. For their failure of loyalty and grit, they were punished, and rightly so. Now, their burden is mine, but I won't allow my unit to suffer the same fate. I knew Dr. Bryant would come through for us, that she'd prove her worth as surely as any subject of the Protectorate would. Seeing as you're the only one trained in the use of that gadget, what say you put it through its paces? Make your way inside the repair hangar and find the control terminal to purge the Zeranium. And be careful with that terminal. We don't want the situation getting any worse. Don't worry about Woodrow. Smart fellow, but his cautious nature gets in the way. Yes, there is some risk that exposure to Zeranium will corrupt our automechs, to use his colorful language. That shouldn't stop us from delivering them on time. I'm sure they'll be scrubbed clean once they arrive at the Vox relay. But that isn't our problem to solve. You be sure and come back once you've made progress on the leak.
Outsider?
Take the heat off you, Commander. Just say when.
Unidentified stimuli. Indeterminate origin. Determination. Inconclusive distraction.
Time to earn my commission.
I can see the door, but ain't a way to reach it from here. Guess we'll have to take the long way around.
Armed and ready.
Not getting up without help, Commander!
You're looking pretty scathed, Commander.
I hope you brought me good news, outsider. At last, the tide is shifting. Today, we fix our automechanicals. Tomorrow, we push the unprincipled interlopers of Auntie's choice into the sea. You've done us a great service, stranger, and I would see your efforts rewarded. Alas, we don't have much to offer since our supplies are so low. I hope these bits will suffice. We confiscated them from the corpses of the scouts who attempted to infiltrate this facility a few weeks back. It carries the invaders' taint, but it should spend just the same. The pleasure was mine. The automechs we sent out will be a great asset to the Vox relay station. Now I can show our chief mechanist that he was wrong, and a little Zeranium poisoning won't do those automechs any harm.